recapping the action from games on Saturday and Sunday in college football from week 1. And you know we got to update the quarterback rankings. We have some new faces in some new places. We're going to discuss this and more coming up next.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Locked On family? Welcome back to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast, your daily podcast covering your favorite draft prospects. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your boy, Damian Parson. You can find and follow me on X at DP_NFL. I'm a senior draft analyst, and thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout out for being our everydayers. Guys, we have a fun show jam-packed with excitement, quarterback rankings, a lot of shakeup, a lot of great performances, but who moved themselves down the board because someone else moved themselves up the board? Who's new to the list? We're going to talk about all of that, guys. We have the money makers and bag fumblers who walked out of the crib with some cash and who dropped the bag on their way out. And of course, Coach DP has to go into the locker room and hand out a game ball or two. Yeah, we're going to go through all of that, guys. Guys, before we get into all of that, this episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/lockedonnfl and use the code LOCKEDONNFL, all lowercase, to win $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. PrizePicks, run your game. Updated quarterback rankings after week 1. Guys, we told you, or was it after week 0, that we were going to do this every week. We were going to do this every single week. We did our preseason list, and it was like, okay, how much different will this list look after week 0, after week 1, so forth and so on. So let's go ahead and get into that now. At number 1, Shedeur Sanders. At number 2, Carson Beck. So not any movement there. But here's where the shakeup begins. Number 3, USC junior quarterback Miller Moss. In the game Sunday night, last night, it was Miller time. And we're going to get into that a little bit. Garrett Nussmeier, LSU's quarterback, comes in at number 4. At number 5, we have Cam Ward. At number 6, Jalen Milroe takes a little bit of a tumble down. Nothing he did wrong, but what other guys did right. Number 7, we got Jackson Dart. At number 8, we have Quinn Ewers. At number 9, we have Drew Aller. And the number 10, we have Dylan Gabriel, a quarterback out of Oregon. So that's Oregon at 10, Penn State at 9, Texas at 8, Ole Miss at 7, Alabama at 6. Guys, listen to me. It was Miller time last night. And I'm going to say this, that the USC versus LSU matchup, I think I tweeted out that I thought it was going to be a high-scoring affair because watching these two young quarterbacks during the summertime, I was like, okay, there's tools here, there's arm talent, there's mobility, there's accuracy and ball placement. Now we got to see it in a full game in 2024. And crazy enough, they've played each other, and facing each other in this game, it was like an old Western quick draw between the quarterbacks. Garrett Nussmeier leads the drive and makes plays. Then Miller Moss comes down and he does the same thing. And it took a little while. I thought it was going to be high scoring. It was high scoring. It was enough scoring, right? It was 47 points, but it wasn't like 55, 53 or anything crazy like that. But watching this game, guys, I was just, when I tell you I was blown away by the level of quarterback play and the things that we saw. We had a great week in the quarterback play. Can we say that? Can we say we had a great week in the quarterback play? Because even the guys who made this list, right, that were even a little bit lower down, Dylan Gabriel had a really good game, 31 of, I think, like 41 of 40 or something like that, or 40 of, I think it was like 31 of 40 for like 340 yards and like a couple touchdowns against Idaho. Level competition wasn't great, but still, he did his job. Drew Aller, he didn't wow any, like, hit the numbers won't wow you, but he was impressive in terms of, you saw anticipation, you saw timing, rhythm, confidence is what I've been waiting to see from Drew Aller, right? And all the work he's put into his mechanics, everything. He's got, I think I said it on here, he's got the opportunity to be this year's Will Levis, but I think that he could develop a little bit better than Will Levis did his last year, because Will Levis was like a redshirt senior or something like that. This young man still has time. I think he's a junior right now, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, Drew Aller was good. Quinn Ewers had a good game, right? Against Colorado State. It's nothing that the guys who are after 5 and 6 or after 5, they didn't do anything wrong, right? Jackson Dart lit it up. He played a horrible team, so it's like I can't really evaluate that, but I can't knock you off the list for that either. But when you look at Cam Ward, let's go there too. Let's go to number 5, Cam Ward against Florida. I mean, he's talked about it. Big game for him, big matchup. What are you going to do with the lights are bright? What are you going to do, Cam Ward? And well, Cam Ward impressed a lot of people. He impressed all of us. 74% completion, 385 yards passing, 1 interception. He had a QBR of 95.7. I think that was 5th in the nation. The 6'2", 220-pound quarterback has the arm talent. He has that almost Aaron Rodgers, arrogant, cocky, uber confident. Like, I know what I can do. And don't get me wrong, that will rub some people wrong. But for me, I don't really mind it as much. I don't have a problem with it as much. Long as you go out there and handle business, right? You never look good. Like even some of the people breaking down his tape from Saturday, or just like, man, like he has a kind of nonchalant drop back and different things like that. And I was critical of Bryce for that, but that's because Bryce's footwork was so poor that it messed up a lot, like his throws. And it's because he's shorter. So I was like, I don't know if he could actually fix that and not be toesy in the pocket and everything because of his height and be able to find throwing lanes deep, like not like far back in the pocket, but like literally like right there in the pocket, like climbing up into the pocket and still finding throwing lanes like Drew Brees. But Cam Ward just moved with he wasn't like urgent, like he wasn't rushed. He was under control. He was comfortable. He was confident. Yes, like he deserved to be top 5 after what he did against a Florida SEC defense. And you know how the voters love the SEC. My God, right? So I have to give Cam Ward his just due because of what he was able to do out there. And he had some throws where you're just like, you have to be confident to make that throw. The layered throw down the left sideline. I think he had one on the backside on the crosser or something like that. But the throw where he spun out of the pocket, he's moving to his left, just kind of drifting, gets his shoulder squares and just flicks the wrist. Like, yeah, I'm him. I'm him. And the ball just travels, touchdown. I'm just like, yeah, that's one of those things where he's unbothered. When your quarterback is unbothered and he's in his zone, 100%. 100%. That's what it looks like, guys. That is what it looks like. But like I said, with Miller Moss and Garrett Nussmeier, man, I just think that those two guys made themselves a case for QB 3 and 4, and if they keep this up, they're gonna make a case for QB 1 and 2. And I'm just gonna be completely honest. No, I love Shedeur Sanders. I love Carson Beck. I really like Jalen Milroe. I think I said it on his pod. To me, Jalen Milroe is the X factor. No one has the tools that he has in this quarterback class. Not Jackson Dart, not Cam Ward. No one. You hear me? Not a soul has the tools of top tier, upper echelon arm talent and upper echelon athleticism. Not just I can get you 5 to 7. No, I can get you 50 to 70 if you don't cut off my access to grass. And this is the type of guy who can access the entire field as a passer with his arm talent. Now it's all about the short to intermediate stuff, identifying blitzes. So the game that we saw, even for Jalen Milroe, that wasn't going to be very indicative of showing us what to expect from him as a mature passer. But I trust Kalen DeBoer to get him going and have him confident going into big games. So listen, I'm going to go over the list one more time, guys, because we got to get to those money makers and back fumblers. Shedeur Sanders at 1, Carson Beck at 2, Miller Moss from USC at 3, Garrett Nussmeier from LSU at 4, Cam Ward from Miami at 5, Jalen Milroe from Alabama at 6, Jackson Dart from Ole Miss at 7, Quinn Ewers from Texas at 8, Drew Allen from Penn State at 9, and Dylan Gabriel from Oregon at 10. So, guys, that is our updated QB rankings from after week 1 of college football action. But like I said, we got to get into those money makers and bag fumblers. Who made themselves some money and who dropped the money leaving out? We're going to talk about this coming up next. Today's episode brought to you by Gametime. Gametime has a new feature called Gametime Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Who doesn't like going to live events? Me and my family love them. Gametime Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. One of the other benefits, and some of the other benefits of using Gametime, is they show the seat views from all the seats available in the venue before you purchase your ticket, so you know what vantage point you and your family or whoever's with you will have. They have lowest price guarantees, event cancellation protection, and even job loss protection. So guys, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Guys, what time is it? You know that it is Gametime. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Guys, kids, our children are always learning and growing. But us, as adults, sometimes we lose that curiosity. What's something you'd like to learn? Gardening, a new language, or maybe how to finally beat your best friend in bowling. Therapy can help you reconnect with your sense of wonder, because your back to school era can come at any age. Being able to clear your mind so that you can focus on just the things that you desire is so important, because our minds get so bogged down and bottled up with stresses of the world, whether it's money, whatever it may be, right? Like, just life happens, and it can take away joy when you're not in the right mental place to be the best version of yourself. So if you think about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. Rediscover your curiosity with BetterHelp. Just visit betterhelp.com/lockedon today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedon. Money makers from week 1 of college football. Nebraska wide receiver, 6'4", 220 pounds, Isaiah Neyor. If you don't recall, if you're not aware of his game, this young man was a highly touted transfer after the 2022 season from Wyoming, where he caught 39 receptions for 791 yards, 20 yards per catch, and 11 touchdowns. He transferred to Texas last year. You know, after the 2021 season, he was out the 2022 season, and he transferred to Texas and everything. We were excited about him going to Steve Sarkisian. Then he got hurt, so then he transfers to Nebraska. And he's basically their number 1 wide receiver right now. 6 receptions, 121 yards, 1 receiving touchdown, and he averaged 20 yards a catch. And he's out there being the number 1 wide receiver for, as Pat Mahomes calls him, Little Cuzzo, his doppelganger, his twin from the future, Dylan Raiola, the 5-star freshman quarterback. But yes, Isaiah Neyor, 6'4", 220, big physical receiver that has enough speed to win the vertical plane, and he showcased that in week 1. And this is a receiver, guys, that I just personally believe that we need to keep our eyes on. Right? You're talking about making some money. You go out there and ball out. And I'm pretty sure that he's a senior. So you keep this up, you're gonna be on the Shrine Bowl and the Senior Bowls list if you're not already on them, and everything. And then you got a big-time matchup this Saturday, which we'll get into later on in the week, against Colorado, right? Nebraska played Colorado last year, and Colorado won that game. But a 7:30 kickoff p.m., that's a prime time slot. You're talking about potentially going up one-on-one against arguably one of the best corners. Some people have CB2, CB3, whatever, and Travis Hunter. Yeah, like that. That's one of the, and I'm going to tell you, I don't want to spoil it. We're going to talk about that game later on in the week. We'll talk about that game on like Friday or whatever. But yes, Isaiah Neyor, got to give him love, man. He balled out. And again, he made himself some money, at least in my opinion. Let's go back to the game last night, right? USC, LSU, 27-20, one of the most entertaining games of the week. The most entertaining game, the game of the week, right? Kyron Lacey, wide receiver from LSU. How do they keep doing this? 6'2", 213 pounds. This is wide receiver U. I know Ohio State fans, you probably don't want to hear that, but this is wide receiver U. You are wide receiver U too. You're second in that regard because of what LSU just continues to do and pump out in terms of talent. Kyron Lacey, 6'2", about 210. About 210, 213, somewhere in there, 6'2". young man, body control, route running, tempo, pacing. He caught 7 passes, 94 yards, and a touchdown. And that touchdown throw, first the throw from Garrett Nussmeier was insane, right? But the catch, the body control, doing the full 180, I believe it was, toe tapping with both feet in. You talk about, shout out to Nate Burleson, that toe drag swag. Yes, Kyron Lacy showcased all of that, man. So got to give him love. I think he made himself some money. He had a bonehead, or AKA stupid touchdown celebration that you just can't do. And I don't care. It's not the NFL. Doesn't that type of celebration not going to go on and everything. And I know they celebrate a different way in LSU. They have all these different dances and things like that. Yeah, you can't do what he did, so let's not do that. But other than that, he made himself some money because with the performance he put on, guys, just outstanding. Going to across the field, Kyron. So that's Kyron Lacy, Kyron Hudson. This young man had himself a day as well. 6'1", 205 for USC. 5 receptions, 85 yards, almost 17 yards per catch, and he had arguably one of the best catches of the season. Right? He's battling for catch of the year right now, where Miller Moss just trusted him, put it up high between multiple defenders. He goes up like OBJ, snatches it, brings it down, on the left hash, close to the left sideline, and it's like, man. But like you saw, not only that, but I believe he caught the pass on the game-winning drive where they scored the game-winning touchdown, where it's a hole shot, cover 2 hole shot, and he rips it, talking about Miller Moss, because I said it was Miller time. He rips it, and just the strong hands from Kyron Hudson. I'm telling you now, guys, that young man made himself some money. He made himself some money in this matchup, and it was just a lot of fun to watch these young guys go out there and make plays and just dominate, dominate the competition in a sense, man. I really, really appreciated that game. It was, like I said, game of the week by far. Let's go to those bag fumblers. Let's go to the bag fumblers, guys. And I don't think we can go any further than the Clemson Georgia game. Cade Klubnik, right? Cade, I'm gonna start with Cade Klubnik. I'm gonna jump to a quarterback that I had high hopes for, that absolutely wet the bed in a sense. Cade Klubnik against Georgia in a game that was, guys, in the second quarter going into half, it was 0-6 Georgia. 0-6. I'm just saying, if that's a better offensive play and production from Clemson's offense, they win this game. Because Georgia could not get into the end zone until the third quarter. So bag fumblers has to be Cade Klubnik. And guys, it was the first pass where they faked this little run action, like a QB little run action to the left. He, pivots out, sprints out to the right. You have Phil Maffa wide open in the flats. He's probably 3 to 4 yards away from you. It's a layup. Guys, you know how I always connect basketball and football. And one of the things I always talk about, I talk about those things, right? And in basketball, what do you do? You don't just come like into the game, tip off, you get the ball, I'm a jack a 40-footer. No, Steph Curry doesn't even do that. Right? You get an easy shot. The coaches want to get you going and get you to your spot, get your easy shot. Boom. You want to see the ball go in the bucket. Sometimes for whether it's a quick mid-range, maybe it's a free throw, a lot of times it's a layup. In this situation, Cade Klubnik had a layup, and he smoked it. He smoked the layup, didn't hit anything. It didn't hit the backboard. It didn't hit the rim. It didn't hit the net. It just went over the entire goal. He smoked it. So he smoked it. And that was the moment I knew that this game was over for Clemson. Because I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, how do you miss this throw? He's right there in front of you. You hit him. It gets in, because Phil Maffa can catch the ball, guys. No matter if he's 6'2", 230 or not, he can catch the ball. He worked on that last offseason. He can catch it. So you give him the ball. He catches the ball. Now he's got room to run and probably get 10 to 15 yards, because once you get a big 230-pound guy moving full speed upfield, I'm just saying. So, yes, he just smoked that entire pass, just threw it in the dirt at his feet. And I was like, what is going on? That's the first throw? Okay, great. So then, he had some moments, he had some throws where you're like, okay, the throw to Antonio Williams. Cade still is not an anticipatory thrower. He's still a thrower, a type of passer that has to see it to believe it. And yeah, for the numbers in this game, he was 18 to 29, 142 yards, less than 5 yards per attempt, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, a QBR of 40.8. Phil Maffa can't get going simply because teams like Georgia knew he was the engine of that team. Dabo Swinney better figure this out because it's not simply on the receivers, right? It's on the quarterback. But speaking of the quarterback, Donovan Smith, Houston against UNLV. I'm sorry. What was that? What, you know what I mean? I for one, I enter off of summer scouting and I say, man, this young man can get it done. This young man he's 6'5", he's this, he's that, so forth and so on. They lose 27 to 7, and that 7 didn't come from Donovan Smith. He was 15 to 30, 135 yards passing, 4.5 yards per attempt, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, he had a QBR of 3.9. How do we get here? How do we get here? Like, so yes, that was an abysmal display of quarterbacking. So you're talking about bag fumblers, got to go to quarterbacks, man. Got to go to quarterbacks. Cade Klubnik, Donovan Smith. You got week 2 in the rest of this season. Well, I don't know how long Cade Klubnik is going to have before Clemson fans really start calling for his job. But Donovan, same thing for Houston fans. They're not going to deal with that. These quarterbacks got to get back on track week 2. Get back on track week 2. But right now, you fumble the bag. You fumble the bag. But we got to get to game ball, guys. Coach DP is heading into the locker room to hand out 2 game balls. I'm handing out a game ball to 2 elite performances from offensive players from week 1. So we're going to do that. Give out the game balls. Coming up next. Today's show is sponsored by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. As a member, do you want to play PrizePicks alongside comedian Drewski, rapper and podcaster Joe Budden, and MMA champ Sugar Sean O'Malley? You can now find community plays under the promos tab of the app to view entries from some of the biggest names in the PrizePicks community each and every week. PrizePicks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy so that your lineup stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, PrizePicks, your picks are still live. Guys, download the PrizePicks app today and use the code LOCKEDONNFL and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONNFL on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout out for being our everydayers. Game balls of the week. And guys, let's start with my running backs. Okay, can we do that? Can we start with the running backs? Ashton Jeanty. I know that he played Georgia Southern. The competition wasn't great. I get it. But the performance, the numbers, like how can you ignore this? 20 carries, 267 yards rushing, 6 rushing touchdowns. He averaged almost 13.5 rush yards per attempt, almost 300 yards. He had over 140 and I think 3 touchdowns in like the first half. The 5'9", 215-pound running back who is just keeping the Kyron Williams, Blake Corum type of style running backs alive. Yes, 100%. The Austin Ecklers of the world. He's keeping that body type alive. Him and Kyle Monunga, who I've told you guys about multiple times this summer. These two 5'9" running backs are studs. They're studs, man. And some people have Ashton Jeanty as RB1. I don't currently have him as RB1 or 2. I have a Mario Hampton and Quinshon Judkins ahead of him. And I think Ollie Gordon right now. But he's climbing. What he showcased in that game, it wasn't just a dominant performance, is how he did it, right? And the things that translate to the league. Being a multiple cutter, right? Stringing together cuts, jump cutting, sidestepping defenders, being elusive in open field. Good speed. I think I won't say he had a breakaway speed like 4.3 or anything, but his speed is sufficient, right? Contact balance. He has a low center of gravity. He runs behind his pads. He runs with a low base. It's hard to just knock him off. He's bouncing and pinballing off of tackles. The young man he just looked good out there. Of course he can catch the football, but it was also negotiating pressure. There's a couple runs, 1 or 2 runs I remember where they got back there. They got back there quickly. Talking about the defensive line from was it Georgia Southern? I think it was Georgia Southern. Yes, and just quick jump cut, made a guy miss. Got out of the backfield in a hurry. Man, this young man is he is elusive. He's just really good football player. Really good football player. Really good running back. I think he's a second round pick at worst. I don't think he goes round one. I maybe, but again, one thing NFL teams do is they like traditional size. Quinshon's 5'11", 215, 220. Ollie's like 6'2", 230, right? Omarion Hampton's like 5'11", 220, 221, somewhere in there. Yeah, I think things are going to be a little difficult to usurp those guys and leapfrog those guys for a first-round draft pick. But anything is possible, as Kevin Garnett said years and years ago. But my next guy, talk about breaking your school record. Talk about breaking your school record. Tatora McMillan, 6'5", 215. Caught 10 of his 15 targets for 304 yards receiving, 4 receiving touchdowns. He averaged 30.4 yards per reception. He had touchdowns of, I think it was 78, 60 plus twice, and a couple 50-yarders, if I remember correctly. So making big plays. He was a 3-level weapon in this game. New Mexico's defense coordinator said, let's leave the best receiver in college football in one-on-one coverage for the most part, and he torched them. He absolutely cooked those guys, and it was a lot of fun to watch. I'm not gonna lie. And I stayed up. I was up late watching this game. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. I couldn't go to sleep because just what Tatora McMillan was doing. This is a stamp me game. Stamp me as wide receiver 1. I am elite. I am the creme de la creme. I'm that guy, aka I am him. And I cannot argue with Tatora McMillan for what he was able to do in this matchup. It was an elite performance, just unstoppable. He looked like Mike Evans. I know the Drake London comps are going to be there. I think he's quicker and more fluid than Drake London. And yeah, I think they say he topped out like 22 miles per hour. They talked about it on the broadcast, I think, from last year, like 22 miles per hour on the GPS. Yeah, this young man, he's him. He is him, and I got to give him love and credit for being that, right? But Tatora McMillan, I give my game balls to Ashton Jeanty, running back out of Boise State, for his 267 and 6 touchdown performance against Georgia Southern, and then Tatora McMillan, 10 receptions, 304 yards and 4 receiving touchdowns. Elite performances from elite players, man. But guys, that is our show. We talked about we updated the top 10 QB rankings after week 1. We talked about the money makers and bag fumblers, and we handed out 2 game balls because it was just too much offensive firepower to hand out just one. Coach DP is I have an open heart, guys. I have a heart, and I can't just look at these guys and say, nah, only you get the game ball. You get a game. I was on my Oprah stuff today. You get a game ball, you get a game ball. All right, I'm not giving out too many more today, but just had to give those 2 elite performers their game balls and their love after week 1, guys. On tomorrow's show, we're going to get into top 10 wide receiver rankings. We're going to recap the action from the FSU Boston College game as well. So come and join the conversation again tomorrow on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.